The Joe Rogan Experience.
But then there's also legitimate arguments on the other side. Like the other side is making a very legitimate argument about the right to due process if you get processed and shipped out of the country and put in a prison in El Salvador. You know, what is the quote? Was it Benjamin Franklin's quote about innocent and that it's better to allow 10 guilty people to go free than one innocent person arrested? You know, I'm on that side of things.
Yeah.
I think due process exists for a reason, and the reason is it is horrific for someone to be accused of something they didn't do, be imprisoned for crimes they didn't commit, and then live in a cell, live in a cage with a bunch of
people who did commit shit.
Here it is, Benjamin Franklin. It's better 100 guilty persons should escape than one innocent person should suffer. That is wisdom.
Yeah.
That has survived hundreds of years. It's incredibly accurate, and it is the foundation of freedom. Like, we have to make sure that these people are actually guilty, otherwise we become monsters. You can't, like, what is that? When you fight monsters, be careful that you don't become one.
Become one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very important. It's very important. You know, you can't do that. But also, you also have to deal with the fact that the current administration is dealing with the past administration allowing known gang members and terrorists to go right through the border unchecked. That a lot of them they know got through. They don't know the exact numbers, but they know there's millions and millions of people illegally just walk through unchecked, and a bunch of them have to have criminal records. A bunch of them have to be dangerous, and we've seen crimes that have been committed. It doesn't help anybody on the progressive side to deny the fact that that's a real problem. And if it happens to your family, God forbid, I don't want it to happen to anybody's, but if it does, you will feel a sting of regret if you supported that, unlike anything you've ever experienced in your life. You'll be like, I mean, it's one of those things where to support one side of this, you have to deny some like basic human values. Either way. Like, to support just rounding people up and just assuming they're all gang members. I'm not saying they're doing that, but this is the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
They get a bunch of people in a room, they rope them all in, and one guy's just someone's cousin picking someone up to give him a ride home. That's possible.
And now you're back on the one innocent person now you're right back.
And what if that dude is not doing anything wrong and he's got some stupid tattoos and they decide that this guy's a gang member, and now you're in a prison in El Salvador and you're not even from El Salvador. And now, you were just a hairdresser or you were a tattoo artist
Family
or whatever
man.
you are.
Yeah.
You came over here and maybe you got a green card and maybe you don't. Maybe you were just given asylum, because a lot of people from Venezuela were given asylum in America.
Yeah.
And then you get shipped to El Salvador where you're not even from El Salvador. So that the fact that exists scares the shit out of me. But also the fact that they were just letting terrorists and gang members flow freely into the country is fucking horrible. And when you talk about innocent people, what about the innocent people that got murdered by terrorists and well, not terrorists, that really hasn't happened, but gang members, and this Trender Wagwa that were taking over those apartment buildings in Aurora, Colorado, and like, that's scary shit, man. Armed with machine guns, taking over apartment buildings. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, what are we talking about? You're letting that happen? You're not sending in the troops to stop this?
Yeah, and you think that wouldn't, in your head, you're like, that can't happen in America, in Colorado.
Bro, they got a guy that had done that in California, and they refused to deport him because they said that California is a sanctuary state. They're like fighting to keep a known gang member free in America. The whole thing is bananas. It's like almost like you don't want to go full tinfoil hat, Sam Tripoli style, and just decide that they're trying to destroy America. But if I was going to try to destroy America, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
I'd take over the political process, impart censorship on all the social media, like gaslight people to no end, consistently do it, AstroTurf stadiums filled with people pretending they support something, pay them to be there, manufacture a movement, and slowly but surely bring chaos to all the cities. Allow DAs to get elected that are the worst when it comes to protecting people and the best when it comes to freeing violent criminals. And that's really their goal. And they can do it. They can just use words like racial justice, like just send murderers back out into the streets. You just create chaos. Defund the police. Defund. Now you have no police. Like, if I wanted to destroy America, I would do it this way.
I mean, what you just described sounds like a like a plan from another place. That's like, oh,
if you wanted to destroy America,
if we really wanted to, not with war, but let's just slowly let them kill themselves, type stuff,
and then have them at each other's back, at each other's throats, rather. You know, constantly have them fighting over political issues. Let's get rid of Roe v. Wade. They're a little too happy right now. Get rid of Roe v. Wade, and then the liberals are up in arms. How, you motherfucker? Which was, getting rid of Roe v. Wade was actually a good move if you were a Democrat, because then people get upset, and then they really want to vote. Like, you could probably ignite a lot of people. And that was like, there was some famous videos. There's one famous video of this lady celebrating that Kamala Harris was going to win. And she was like, reproductive freedom. Women came out to vote in unprecedented numbers. It was, I'm sure you've seen it. It's a video of this lady mocking this guy working at a liquor store.
No,
did you ever see it?
I didn't see this.
It's so good. It's so good because it's like this lady, and the way she's talking, like, you can't be a good person and talk to someone this way, or even about someone this way, and be happy in the way you're happy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like people like to be shitty to people and think that it's justifiable to be shitty if that person disagrees with you. So you can be shitty. Whereas the guy in this story is not being shitty to her at all, but she's being super shitty to this guy. And but she's talking about reproductive rights. Because like that was like one of the big things that got people to come out and vote for the Democrats. Yeah. Like if I was playing 4D chess and I was a Democrat, I was like, this is what we do.
Get rid of ourselves.
Get rid of ourselves. Get rid of ourselves. And then campaign on that. Okay, now we got all the women
pissed off.
Because women don't want men telling them what to do. Bitch, you can't get pregnant. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Until you can get pregnant, shut the fuck up. You know? Yeah. It's like, so this lady, you got it, Jamie? You can find this video. It's so funny. This poor lady. But it's about reproductive rights. Like, she's saying that. And it was for a lot of people. But that was a big one. So, like, you would do that. You would do that. You would get rid of that. You would try to get rid of the Second Amendment. Fuck the Second Amendment. We're going to get rid of all guns. Oh, the fucking gun guys, get up for the Republicans. You know? And then, you know, you would say, we need open borders because we need, our society is population collapse. And they were starting to say things like that. And we need, you know, who's going to pick cotton? They're essentially marketing it because they're saying Americans don't want these jobs, so we have to bring people in to pick our crops. Who's going to clean your toilets? People are openly saying that, like not realizing how racist.
Oh, I remember that lady. The one white lady. She told him, she was like, "Who's going to clean your toilet if they get rid of all the Mexicans?" It's like, what the fuck?
Who said that?
It was like on the View, one of those crazy View.
One of those View bitches.
She's one of them, or at least a show like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hilarious. So there was that going on. If you wanted to like destroy society and make it worse, what would you do? You bring people in from a third world country, don't have them change anything, financially incentivize them to be there, give them free money while you're not helping the poor people in America. They were giving them debit cards, free housing, free food, putting them up in the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. Why, you old shit? If you wanted to destroy society, that's how you would do it. That's how you would do it.
I mean, that sounds...
You would just keep
like it's
doing
working.
Like it's going in that direction.
Yeah.
So the problem with things that are going in a radical direction, and then there's an overcorrection. So the overcorrection is lack of due process. The overcorrection is like round them all up, ship them to jail. Like that's like some things that you say when you're not thinking things through. Like, what do you do about all the criminals? Take them all, fucking send them to El Salvador.
Yeah.
What about due process? No, fuck that. Well, here's the problem with fuck that. What if you are an enemy of, let's not say any current president. Let's pretend we got a new president, totally new guy in 2028. And this is a common practice now of just rounding up gang members with no due process and shipping them to El Salvador. You're a gang member. No, I'm not. Prove it. What? I got to go to court. No, no due process.
That's dangerous, Joe.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. We got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. But then again, you got to find these motherfuckers that are here that have terrorist cells and that are ready to fucking blow up malls in Dallas and do crazy shit, which definitely they've thwarted before.
Yeah.
So like this is the best argument for intelligence agencies is that there's real threats. You know, like for someone to say, fuck all the CIA, fuck the FBI. What, are you crazy? Who's going to investigate real threats? Like the real world exists. As much as you want to pretend that that we can all go kumbaya tomorrow if we all just lay down our arms. No, There's people that are 48 years old and dedicated to crime. They've been dedicated to crime in Guatemala, and now they're here. You know,
Yeah,
and now they're
dude.
selling fentanyl, and they're not going to stop. Okay?
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and they're on EBT cards where you're getting money from the government for free every month because you're in a sanctuary city,
Yeah.
and you get free food, and you're a criminal. And then one of them, like two of them, assaulted cops in New York City and then got free. No cash bail. No cash bail. You just get out. They assaulted cops, and then they're on the street giving the Tupac to the camera. You ever see that?
No, Joe,
Bro, it's
what?
crazy. First of all, we got to show you the Kamala Harris lady. You got the Kamala Harris lady? You can't find it? They probably scrubbed it from the internet. She's being shamed.
I'm not really
You're-
sure what to look for, but
You're putting a tinfoil hat on my head right now. Like, that's how I'm feeling.
We don't have to show it. It's because we've already showed it a bunch of times. It's how you would do it if you wanted to destroy America. I'm not saying. So the question becomes like, how much of it is our own folly? How much of it is just natural human behavior? How much of it is like the right wants law and order, so we don't want law and order. The right wants to punish prisoners. We want to. No, it's racism. You know, it's like, what is it?
But that's just teams fighting. That's so yeah.
But also, I feel like it's manipulated as well, and maybe more so than anything else. I feel like it's manipulated. And again, if you wanted to turn us into China, and what I mean by that is a country that's facial recognition everywhere, social credit score system that's attached to all of your banking, your ability to travel, everything you do. If you make anything online that's against the government, you could be disappeared, you could be locked up, you could be made a political prisoner. You know, this is fun.
It felt like we were heading that way.
Yeah, I think this is something that, I think it was Metzger that said this. No, it was Duncan that said this about Ukraine and Russia. He was like, do you realize, like, the Ukrainians that we're killing, or that rather the Russians that we're killing by sending over arms and money to fund the Ukrainians? Not saying that we shouldn't do this, but he's saying that a lot of those guys are being forced to go to the front line. And a lot of those guys are prisoners who get released in order to fight. So what if you're a prisoner because you wrote a bad tweet against Putin? And they lock you up, and then all of a sudden, Ukrainians are killing you with American weapons because you tweeted bad against Putin. So it's Putin's way of like eliminating any dissent from like, and they don't even arrest that many people online in comparison to, or for doing things online in comparison to the UK. The UK is getting in on it full steam ahead. The UK is arresting people for anything that makes people uncomfortable online. They show up at your house and just fucking arrest you. They've arrested, like, how many people have been arrested in the UK for social media posts in the last year? It's gonna blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. This is just posts on social media, like, we need to send these illegal immigrants back. Saying shit like that.
Yeah.
You get arrested. Hate crimes.
Even if I'm joking, even if I'm just fucking having a...
There's no jokes.
Wow.
No jokes online anymore. Not in the UK. Not only that, but the guy who's the head of the UK, they're saying now that they could potentially arrest Americans who have posted things online when they visit the UK. Yeah, I was reading a post about this. Like, this law could potentially be used in this way. That if you are a person in America and you're posting horrible shit about the UK government or the immigrant problem or whatever they have, context behind available information, exact figures 2025, not fully comprehended. 2023, 12,183 arrests were made across 37 police forces in the UK under Section 127 of the Communications Act 2003 and Section 1 of the Malicious Communications Act in 1988, equating to about 33 arrests per day. Laws cover sending grossly offensive, indecent, obscene, or menacing messages via electronic communication networks, which includes social media posts and also DMs. DMs. So people get arrested for horrible DMs that nobody gets to see other than the friend that you're sending it to, supposedly.
You have no idea what the context is. That's
checking
crazy.
Into this one time recently, it said that a lot of people may have been arrested, but many of them were not prosecuted and were released.
But it's still
after.
Right. Okay, that's cute. It's still horrifying because what you're doing is scaring people into compliance. They don't want to be arrested again, and they certainly don't want to risk being prosecuted. But they're forcing people to censor themselves.
The
When I
jump.
read it, it said that they were breaking the law. I don't know which law they're
Right.
breaking.
Well, no,
but it says
they
they're breaking
do
the
have a
law.
law. They don't have freedom of speech the way we have in America.